Everybody got their cameras on? Come in, put your camera on, turn your mic on, and chat. Someone's watching on YouTube. You gotta mute your microphone or we'll get feedback. How you doing, Steve?
Yes, I have my camera on. I can...
Turn your mic on, Steve. Can't hear you. Take that neem oil and clean it up for me with some soap, some plain water.
Oh, I've got my mic on and my camera on. Can you hear me, Don?
Clean the looks better. Just wipe it off.
Can you hear me, Don? Test.
Can't hear you. Turn your mic on.
Well, my mic appears to be on. It was working earlier.
I'm not hearing anybody tonight. I don't know, somebody's microphone's probably off.
I've got a microphone signal on my end.
Showing 10 viewers. I'm not seeing nothing. We got something muted.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2.
Yeah.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1.
Someone's listening to it on YouTube. You can hear the feedback.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Working?
Testing.
Well, he's got his mic ain't working.
Can you hear me, Don?
Appreciate it. Have a safe trip.
Oh.
Okay, let's get these right now. First one, 21.
Testing. Testing. Testing.
Oh, there's an extra 5. That's why.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
That's their business. I didn't know. That's my other. What is that place you at?
Renee, I'm on air.
Yeah, we said here.
You got your mic on, Steve?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good, good. I'm not picking you up.
Okay, I'm still trying to figure out why.
I know. I have trouble myself with the thing. Half the time it's working and half the time it's not. Thank you.
It No, you can't see it. Oh, well, so I'm okay. I don't know. I see it on my end as working.
We're getting 11 viewers, but no one's in the chat talking. You can use the chat bar on the side there. You can type if you want to type if you can't get through.
Okay. Can you hear me now, Don? Can you hear me now?
Got your mic on this time? I just
Yeah, I'm
posted it
trying.
on Facebook. Maybe people can find that link now. We've got a lot of viewers joining us, but no one's in the chat. You must.
I don't know. I got my end shows
I'm
it's
not
okay.
picking you up. Let me check, see if there's something going up here.
I'm getting green.
Not hearing nothing yet.
I like on this end. Okay. Testing. 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 Testing.
And my mic shows it's working too, but I'm not hearing you. And my speakers is working. You double check my speakers, make sure.
Yep. My mic's working. Testing.
Speakers are working. Might be the internet.
I've got everything's showing okay.
I think somebody is doing, they're watching this on YouTube. If they're watching this on YouTube, it's causing feedback into the chat room. And that's why we're not hearing each other.
Well, I had it on YouTube for a second, and then I X'd out. It's showing my mic's working. Showing my mic's okay. I don't know. I don't know. Good.
I can try to reboot this thing and see if maybe it's Google itself.
Well,
we'll probably lose the link and won't have the same link again.
Testing. Well, my end's okay. My end is okay. My end. Testing. Okay, Tech Man's here. There's another guy. Okay, there's another guy.
Well, Tech Man has joined us. Maybe he can figure out what's going on. We're not hearing people coming in the chat room, but they can hear me.
Tech Man, can you hear me?
Yes.
Testing. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And leave a message.
Some content.
Never seen that.
Okay. All right. Don is not hearing us.
Something must be wrong with my computer then. If he can hear you.
Techman,
I'll
can you?
try to reboot the whole thing. Might be a minute or two. Let me just reboot and see if that helps.
Okay. All right. Don's rebooting.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you, Techman.
Okay. Well, maybe I can get my questions answered.
No. I'm in South Carolina. Where are you located?
Nashville, Tennessee. Let me change something here.
Yeah, I can hear you really well.
Yeah, but you're coming on my other speakers. I'd rather have you through the headphones.
I can hear you now. Is that you, Steve, talking?
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead, Techman. Yeah, I can hear you, Don. Can you hear me?
We've got 13 viewers. I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Perfect.
Good. Now I'm hearing you. Now I'm hearing you.
Techman said he had some questions.
I think it's something to do with Google.
Go ahead, Techman.
Yeah, I was just trying to get hold of you, John. Been leaving you messages, but I guess you're not seeing them. I'm running into troubles with the local supplier of bees, but I was wondering if you're still selling or not.
Selling my honey?
No, bee packages.
Bees?
Yep.
I've got some bees for sale. Nukes?
Yeah. It's a little bit far for me.
I've got packages here right now. If I have a few no one's picked up, you can come pick up packages. I have nukes that'll be ready right now too.
Yeah, right now I'm pretty far from you, so.
Oh.
So do you do it by mail, or do you only do it by people dropping by?
Well, packages I don't ship, and I don't ship nukes because it's so hot and they don't do good in the weather. Best thing to do is pick packages up or pick your nukes up and they don't get damaged in the mail.
Well, Don, I'm in South Carolina, and I have watched lots of your YouTube videos. I'm a first-year beekeeper, and I have 2 top bar hives.
I don't know a whole lot about top bar hives. I just never got into top bar hives. I do the Langstroth hives. They don't have a whole commercial value, top bar hives.
Well, yeah, it's definitely for the backyard beekeeper.
Well, there's not a whole lot of ways you can get the honey out of it, extract it, or manage your mites and stuff in it. And I wanted to talk about doing mite treatments tonight. I was hoping that everybody got in the chat, but we're getting people coming and going, and they're not getting or using their camera. What problems are you having with the top bar hive? Bees not staying, or what?
No, I really haven't had any problems. They've been doing very, very good. I I got some small hive beetles. I noticed it when I put the packages in the top bars. I noticed a small hive beetle, and I've tried beetle blasters, and I even tried a Swiffer pad, which actually worked.
Well, the beetle traps that I got on my videos with the boric acid in political signs, those work pretty good for doing the small hive beetle control. They don't cost you nothing to make. You can get old political signs and cut them up.
Yeah, I've actually watched that YouTube. So far, I haven't used any treatments at all. I was trying to stay treatment free for as long as I could, just to see if I could maintain it. And
Yeah.
I installed the packages on the 21st of April, so it hasn't been quite 2 months yet.
Well,
And,
you're just
so things
now
are going.
getting your second brood cycle in there. So you're
Yes,
not going
it's
to
just
notice a lot of mites until probably your third or fourth mite, your brood cycle.
Yeah, I really don't even have. I don't have any drone. They're not producing any drones, of course. So that's usually where you see them, right?
Well, the drones is where the mites are going to accumulate in the cell. That's where that's one way we check them is we pop the caps on drones to check. We look for freckles or little spots on there. But,
Yeah,
a top bar hive, you probably could treat it with paper towels. How much clearance you got on those top bars for the cover? You got about 3/8 of an inch?
Oh yeah, I've got enough. I left enough room that I could put some of that insulation board in between the cover and the top bars themselves. So I've got about maybe.
I'm going to show you a product that we've used in the past. It's neem oil.
Grow. Oh, neem oil. Yes, I have.
It's very good for treating mites. It's cheap, it's organic, it comes from the neem tree, and there's no pesticide in it. It's like, you could use different plants. This I bought a couple of years ago. We done a study to see how well this treats mites. This treats mites pretty good if you use it on a paper towel and just lay it on the top bars. You don't have to buy a lot. The product itself is this is 32 ounces. That was about $48 shipped to me. It's 100% natural, no additives, and it's very good, really.
I'm gonna have to do some research on that. So you just put it on a paper towel, put it on the top bars?
Yeah, this here, what we've done with this is we cut it. Let's see if we get a good picture of it there. Pure neem oil.
Yeah.
And we cut that down to maybe 2 tablespoons to a quart and emulsify it up and just put it on paper towels. I wouldn't use it full strength. That bottle there, 32 ounces, is enough to do about 2,000 hives.
Yeah, I've only got 2.
Yeah. Well, this product, the one reason I started to do some research on this on my own bees here is because the man that sold it to me was from India, and he says they actually ingest this themselves. It's not supposed to be for human consumption, he says, but it don't hurt humans. He uses a little bit of it, he says, on a regular basis. I don't know if he's using it as a worm dewormer or what, but it works good in greenhouses and stuff for aphids and different nematodes. It's good for mites, and you can put it on your skin. You don't have to worry about it.
That's great. It's a natural. I mean, it's also organic. You could consider it organic, could you?
Oh yeah, it's pretty much organic. Now you could take flowers, and crush flowers. Marigolds is good. I've never used marigolds in it, but in a beehive. But I've ground it up with a blender and used it as a pesticide, a natural pesticide through a garden, and it knocks down quite a bit of pests. But this is designed to use in full contact with bees and other insects. I try to talk about different things every week, and I thought this might be something that no one's heard of or had tried it. I'm not pushing the product. I'm not making nothing on it, but it's just another way to treat your bees. You could probably put powder sugar on them and knock the mites off, but it doesn't have no kill value at all. This here has a kill value to the mites. Same thing with paper towels and wintergreen or thyme oil. Thyme oil is also a real good miticide.
I'm definitely going to check it out. Because if you got bees, eventually you're going to have mites, I'm sure.
Yeah, you got to do some type of treatment. People might say they don't want to treat at all, but you might be a total vegetarian, and if you get stopped in the desert and you're out there for 3 weeks, you slowly give up the vegetarian, and whatever's moving and crawling, you're going to have it for lunch.
Absolutely. What did you say? What cycle? Like I'm on my second cycle of bees now because I just installed.
Going into your third cycle, or your brood cycle, you're probably going to start treating. Packages, you get, I don't know where you get your packages, but a lot of packages might have mites already on them. It just depends where you get them.
They came out of Georgia.
Yeah. Well, another thing you can do, which is natural, is the mite vaporizer, which is oxalic acid with a vaporizer. I don't like to use a dribble method because you can't use the dribble method when you have open brood or open honey. It might contaminate it or make a funny taste to it. But the vaporizer with open brood or open honey, uncapped honey, you can use it just about any time the bees are flying. It's the only thing I know that's 100% mite kill. I teach a lot of different methods, but if you got a lot of hives and you don't want to lose them, that's the one thing you want to do.
I think I saw a YouTube video of you using a fogger with mineral oil.
Right.
That was a mite treatment as well.
That's a mite treatment. That is basically done with mineral oil. And I've done classes here, showed people how to do that, and actually drank some right out of the bottle. All it is a laxative. And when you put it in a fogger, you vaporize that oil, and it goes up in the hive. You can do 200-300 hives in a couple hours or an hour and a half. It causes the mites to suffocate. That's all it does.
Well, that's two methods. That's two things that I definitely use for treatment. One is the fogger with the mineral oil because that's basically organic, and it sounds like the neem oil is organic. So those are two very good tips.
Well, there's a lot of ways. I could almost do 2 to 3 hours of different type treatments. I teach a lot of different methods here because I'm basically doing a school. So what you like or what the next person likes, maybe you have a variation in your beliefs and you won't put that in. You can take a paper towel and basically put mineral oil on top of it. The bees will they'll climb on it, they'll crawl it, they'll chew it up, they'll haul it out because their bees are hygienic, and it causes that oil to get all over the bee itself. It causes the bee to be hygienic and suffocates the mites. It is a kill method. It's a very slow method, but it does work.
There's some background noise, I think, on TechMan's microphone, I believe.
I think someone is watching us on YouTube, and we're getting feedback through their microphone.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening.
Yep. So, because I'm hearing basically a few seconds time delay. But if anybody's got questions, jump in the chat room, turn your camera on, turn your mic on, and ask away. We'll see if we can't help you out. We'll try to talk about mite treatments tonight, or if you've got other problems, we'll see if we can tackle that.
Well, the fogging with the mineral oil and the neem oil are two organic ways. Do you know of any other organic ways that don't involve miticides of any type or hazardous chemicals? Do you know of
Well,
anything else?
you can take mineral oil by itself, lay a paper towel on top of your top bars, and just squirt a little bit on there. Now, don't saturate it, but just put a little bit on it, and it'll wick itself across that paper towel. And the bees will come up and chew it up and try to haul it out. That mineral oil itself will suffocate the mites. That's one
Okay.
way.
Okay, that's three methods. That's good to know.
Another thing, of course, I don't know how your top bars are set up, but breaking the mite cycle is one way that we do it here by constantly splitting hives, putting new foundation in, and don't run foundation over 3 years. That's one way that we control them more organically.
Yeah, I was hoping, the bees are still building up. I was hoping I'd be able to do a split, next spring instead of buying packages.
Well, most people that's bought packages or nukes for me split them at least 8-10 times in 1 year.
The first, not the first year or the second year?
First year. I've got people that buy packages, and I do it right here. We'll throw a package in, and we can sell it as a nuke in about 3.5 weeks.
Wow.
But see, we're putting them in a 5-frame nuke. You condense the heat down to where they can concentrate the heat. They got to have enough heat to draw that wax, and
Yeah.
that's the disadvantage of a big top bar hive. You got so much disbursement of heat.
Well, you put a follower board in that follows the size of the area that they're using. So you can, you got a follower board that kind of keeps it whatever size the colony is. You just follow it out as it grows. You're in Florida, correct?
No, I'm in North Georgia.
North Georgia. What?
East of Atlanta.
Oh, you're east of Atlanta. You're not that far.
Northeast of Atlanta. I'm just south of Tacoma.
Well, that's not that far. I'm in South Carolina between Charleston and Columbia.
Oh.
Near Lake Mary.
There's people that come from South Carolina. Casey, South Carolina. I got one of my students just south of Casey there. He comes up here.
Yeah, Casey's it's kind of part of Columbia, but
Yeah.
Casey's kind of close to me.
Actually, I just had one of my students that he just coming in the house here. He's down here from Indiana. He just left. And I have another student here right now from Texas. And I have another one here from Alabama that come here to learn commercial beekeeping. So I just walked in the door just about 8 o'clock. We started putting packages in and making splits. And my wife came out and says, "Time getting late."
Well, our time is almost up. It's almost 8:45, but
We'll run a little longer if anybody can get in. I run usually an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. Nice thing about it is it goes up on YouTube and you can come in and watch it again later.
I forgot about that.
Everything's going up live most of the time now. I'm starting to do more live stuff out in the bee yard now too, and I'm teaching classes out here.
It's a full bathroom tank man there.
You're getting terrible feedback tonight.
looks like feedback, Louie.
Well, I just turned the feedback down.
But there he is. Is that Tech-Man?
That must be him.
His mic's off. I don't know if he knows it or not. Yeah, he turned his mic off.
Yep. He was getting some feedback. He's probably got two computers running. One he's watching YouTube and the other one he's watching this.
There he goes.
Yep, there he's on.
Oh, he's turned his mic off again.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
like me. He's probably trying to learn how to do this stuff. But I'll show you the product again in case you didn't see it. It's a
Dynagrow. Dynagrow.
Yeah.
D-Y-N-A, Dynagrow.
Yeah. It's a pretty good little product. I mean, it's if someone's got quite a few hives, you basically treat them for pennies rather than try to put chemicals in them. Techman's a computer analyst and he can't figure out our problem.
I think he's working on it.
Yeah. Well, I have I got bee experience, but like I said, I don't know that much about top bar hives, so it's a totally different field. The only thing that's similar is the bees.
Well, I chose top bars because, I'm a backyard beekeeper and most sort of a hobbyist. I haven't even hit it as a sideline yet. But.
Well, the thing about top bar hives, it's hard to get your honey out extracting it unless you're just basically squeezing it. And bees, if you stop and think about it, they build vertically in trees. And they never, on a 10-frame hive, they won't even use the outside frames. Occasionally, 10 frames wide, they'll put honey in the outside frames. They'll go vertically more than they'll go horizontally. Top bar hives, a lot of people spend tons of money. For what they spend for one top bar hive, they could probably get 10 Langstroth. And they're not any cheaper if you're building them yourself. I mean, there's a guy I talked to, he builds Langstroths. They ain't pretty, but they're just square, butted up 2x2 wood. 2x12s he used, or 2x10s. And he built a little edge in there to set the frames, but at least the square frame, when you pull it out, you can throw it in an extractor. Those frames from a top bar hive that I've seen, they're on a V like this. So
yeah, they're on a V.
They're hard to put in an extractor without slinging them all to pieces. And it's not really the natural drawed comb. That's not the problem. It's the structure, the way they build it. Because I have Langstroth hives here, and I'm using no foundation to show people you don't even need to put fishing line in. And as long as you're not putting a motor on there and jumping from the get-go to 100 mile an hour, you're not going to sling them out. I got a radial 20-frame extractor, and I could spin it one way, and when you start to see the honey coming out, you stop it and you reverse it and go the other way. That way the frame sits in there basically balanced, and it's not got more honey on one side that pushes it against the other side. So you can go back and forth by it. It's a little slow, but you can spin them almost bone dry. And the people that's got the motors on there, they're slinging them so fast that centrifugal force, like a wash machine, when it spins on that spin cycle, it spins them so fast, inertia pulls all the water out. And it's sticking the frames up against the side is what you're doing, the same thing on your extractor.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to use an extractor. I'm going to have to do a crush and strain.
Yeah.
method.
Well, if you get a small 2-frame extractor, there's a fella that comes and does top bar hives, and he built a little basket for his, and he does 2 frames at a time. And he used that, you know what stretch wire is? They put it like on walkways and stuff around semi-trucks and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a wire that looks, it looks like diamonds, like this.
Yeah.
Stretched out. And He just made a basket out of that stuff and puts them in there, and he slings it out, and he says he don't have a problem with it.
That's great. That's a good thing. He's back on.
He must have tried to reboot, and he can't get the reboot to go, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe he's got an auxiliary microphone. I think there was someone in here a couple of weeks ago. They had big setup, you know, with a big microphone in front of them, and they was getting a bunch of feedback. Now, David, when he comes in, he tells a lot of people to use earbuds, and it seems to get rid of that feedback.
Yeah, he's still working on it.
Yeah. Well, if anybody else got questions, jump in here, get on the chat, and you can type what your question is, and we'll see if we can help you out. We're going to try to talk about mite control tonight. If you have mite problems, different ways to take care of mites. Foggers are really good if you got a large number of hives. They're sold at like Lowe's, Home Depot as bug killers and designated just for beekeeping, and just use mineral oil in it. It's about a 50%, maybe a 60% kill. You do it 2 times a month, and you can kind of interrupt that mite cycle. It's not the best, but if you got, you know, a lot of hives and you're serious about not losing hives, the vaporizer is 100%, and it's been legalized, and oxalic acid is contained in a lot of your green vegetables and stuff that's in your garden.
Well, breaking the mite cycle, can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, breaking the mite cycle, basically all you have to do is make splits, you know, take the queen from the box and make a split, move her over, and interrupt that constant laying in there. Or if you want to use drone comb, I don't particularly like to use drone comb for that purpose. It's wasting a lot of honey, and it's not that effective.
Yeah.
The fogging is pretty good. It's a lot better than drone trapping. And your vaporizer is tops. Your paper towels on top of your top bars, it's pretty good. You don't have no investment other 16 ounces of mineral oil at Walmart's $1.70. And that 1 pint of mineral oil would treat probably 100 hives. Because you don't need much, about a teaspoon and a half of mineral oil, just sprinkle it across. What I normally do is take the lid from the mineral oil. I'll use this as an example. You take the hole and take a small drill bit and drill it into the cap. And keep 2 mineral oils and just hold it over the paper towel and just squeeze it to where you make an S, a double S together, and then it weeps out across that paper towel, and the bees will come up and they'll clean it, or they'll chew it up to haul it out. And it slowly kills the mites that way. You don't have enough paper towels and mineral oil.
So in the process, the bees get the mineral oil on themselves and suffocate the mites?
Yep, they're getting that on them. They're coating themselves, and it suffocates the mites. They die from suffocation.
Well, that sounds much easier than fogging.
Well,
you have to fire up a fogger.
You don't have to buy another tool. I mean, for someone who's got 1 or 2 hives in the back, I mean, it's not perfect, but it does. Anything you do to break the mites, to get rid of them, you're going to be all right.
Well, I know it's coming.
Another thing people are having problems with, you know, small hive beetle.
Yeah, I've got them already.
Well, if you look at the videos, I run mine in full sun, open shade. I run a lot of them under the pine trees. I run them all through the yard in all situations to show people. And we haven't even put beetle traps in for 2 years. We see one, maybe 3 beetles here and there. It's the type of bee, I guess, and its management techniques is all I can say.
Yeah, well, I have one hive I'll see maybe 2 or 3 when I open it up. And then I have one hive I haven't seen any beetles in, but I know they're in there. They got to be.
Well, if you got, well, I've never really worked a top bar hive, but on a frame rest for a Langstroth hive, if you got a lot of beetles, that's the first place you're going to see them, right around the frame rest by the frames. The next place, when you take 2 or 3 frames out, you're going to notice them in the corners of the beehive on the bottom board. Now, I don't run screen bottom boards. I run solid bottom boards, and the solid bottom boards are totally painted all the way around.
Yeah, I see them in the crevices around where at the bottom. I've got a screen, and then with a bottom board affixed to the bottom with toggle clips that hold it on there, and then there's a little crack along the bottom that I see them in.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna build up anywhere that there's a crack. That's the #1 reason I try to take latex paint and I paint the bottom board totally all over. I don't want cracks, and if I have light shades of latex paint, I can see the mites or the beetles, whatever I'm looking for, on the bottom a whole lot easier. I don't use the screen bottom boards because you have a moisture and a fungal problem usually with them. I think they do more harm than good, my personal opinion.
Well, I was hoping somebody else would come back in.
Yeah, there's some people, maybe they can't get in. If they send me a add friend, I usually try to get them to where they can come in.
Well, when I was first trying to get in, I didn't. This is the first time I've signed on, and when it comes up with your logo on there, not logo, but your photograph, you have to kind of scroll down a little bit. The join group side, there's a little green square that says join group, and you have to scroll down. You have to scroll down to find that. And it took me a while to find it.
Well, are you on Facebook?
Yes, sir.
I'm on Don Kuchenmeister on Facebook, and I just posted a link on that to where we're at. So I try to post on there to let people know where I'm at. This is my busy time of the year, so sometimes I have good intentions to get on. It's just like tonight, I was running tight on time. We brought a bunch of packages up, and I got a student out here. We had 2 students here, and we got one was helping, and the other one, he got burned out quick, so he hightailed it.
Well, you're kind of close. I might drive down there or over there to see you one of these days, just for the experience.
That's a long way to come to see an old man.
Well, I got some friends in Savannah, and so I might swing by Savannah and then go up your way.
I think I'm 5 hours from Savannah.
Wow, what's the closest town where you are?
I'm southwest of Toccoa, Georgia, and I'm northeast of Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, that's really not that far.
Well, I've got people from Hickory, North Carolina. I've got I spoke at the Asheville Community College over there a year ago, I guess, or 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'd like to see your operation.
Well, what I've got here is basically a hands-on type operation where I try to take the person off the street, teach them how to get into commercial beekeeping, to be self-sustaining or to be, make a living at it.
Well, I've enjoyed our chat, Don. It's almost 9 o'clock.
I'm going to
So,
head out of here in a little bit. I try to post on Facebook, or if you registered as friend or something on Google Hangouts, you should get an invitation, because when I sent invitations out yesterday, there was about 500 people got invitations.
well, I do it through Google Plus, and I've got a little red dot that shows up in the top right-hand corner of my.
Yeah. Something to do with that. I'm not that familiar with it, but I think if you sent a friend or you add me to circles or something, when I see that, I put you on as friends or following, and then you should be able to get right on the chat. You should get a notice when we do our chats.
Yeah, well, this was the first time, and I was experimenting. So next time I'll be a little better at getting on.
Well, I'm trying to get better at this thing, but a lot of this technology I'm not smart on.
This is the first time I've used Hangouts. I've used Skype before, but I've never used
Yeah,
Hangouts.
I use Skype, but Skype you can only do a one-on-one. I do that for bee clubs that pay me for, what I'm doing tonight. Sit down and talk to a whole bee club, or I talk to people in other countries.
How many people can you do on Hangouts total?
You can have 10 people that's video at the same time, but you can have unlimited as far as they can text you on the side there. I've had 3 weeks ago, there was a little about 185, 200 people that was in the chat last time. But this is being recorded for YouTube, so you can watch it, you can pick up. I'll probably edit off the first 4 or 5 minutes, because I came in late and I was sitting here eating my dinner while I was waiting for people to show up.
Well, I'll look forward to looking that up on YouTube.
Okay, if nobody else has got any questions, I'm going to head out of here.
All right, Don. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, everybody.